Hi Virgo, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your August 30th, 2022 New Moon, Black Moon reading for you. Now I ask if this reading resonates with you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will all be listed in the description box below. Now before we begin this reading, let us clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. This will be accompanied by a loud sound. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds, letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into this safe and loving space. So it's very interesting, Virgo, the energy that's coming forward. I'm just seeing it's like a waterfall, but it's more like a pitcher. It's okay, the water is falling and it looks like a stream from a pitcher into a basin, and it's almost full, which means that we've almost, taken all that we can take. This is a time, this moon is astoundingly emotional because it is a lunar moon. It is a lunar eclipse, right? So being aware of that, this is a very emotional time and we're already at our brim. So acknowledging that is going to be important. I'm just seeing white hair and kind of a heart-shaped face. So for me, that means that there is an elderly woman coming forward, somebody who is more mature, right? Or gray-haired. This would most likely be somebody who passed and who's telling you to be mindful of the fact that, emotions are running high during this time. So that just needs to be acknowledged. It doesn't have to be that this person has passed, but I'm getting that vibe. So just acknowledging this is going to be very important. Or this person can be highly spiritual and they kind of walk both sides of the world. So let's look at what we need to be mindful of during this moon. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. We have the Lady. We need to be mindful of being too emotionally attached to what we're bringing forward, meaning that any criticism is going to be just heartbreaking to us. So there's that energy coming forward here. It's like, I want to protect at any cost. So being aware of that energy is going to help us to be nurturing and uplifting, but not devastated by this time. Because again, remember, the emotions are running so high. There is also a sense of somebody who is supposed to be nurturing, being more critical, and just being aware of that they might be coming from a place of, oh, I think I'm helping you, but they're not helping us. They're seeing the picture wrong. Or they're seeing it not wrong. They're seeing it through their perception, their ideas, their ideals. And it's just not going to jive and to relate to how we're seeing things. So again, being aware of that is going to be very important. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. We have our chakra energy being the Earth Star chakra, located 6 inches below our feet. We are grounding. We are connecting with the earth. And we need that. There is going to be an energy almost during this time, Virgo, of I don't really need to connect, or I don't need to ground myself. I've got this. And Spirit saying, that's great to think, but it's not going to be the reality. We need to ground ourselves and we need to connect. Also eating more natural foods and just connecting with the earth, being outside in the sun or, in the moon is going to be something that powers us. There's going to be something also about the stars during this time, either liking to watch the stars or, just starting to stargaze, that is going to bring us a sense of calm, a sense of centering. If we can't see the stars where we are, it can be taking a trip, going camping if you like camping, or I'm just seeing imagery of the stars coming forward. So let's look at this time Well, actually, let's talk about this time astrologically. So the 30th of April is the new moon. It is a black moon, which hasn't been seen since August 2020. And the black moon is the second new moon in a calendared month. So this is a rare time. And it is a time where also, with this new moon being in Taurus, we are seeking stability. We are seeking things to be grounded and stable. And yet, our satisfactory level, like being satisfied with things that are going on, we just feel kind of at rest. Not at rest, uneasy, being at rest with anything. So that's what's coming forward. It's like we want to rest, we want to take it all in, and yet there's still an energy of can I move forward in the way that I need to? Am I building the solid foundation that I want? We need to also learn to accept that change is a part of life, especially when it comes to a lunar eclipse. A lunar eclipse brings the change. The new moon in Taurus in the Moonology cards says prosperity lies ahead, and it definitely does. So to be able to see and embrace our own self-respect, embrace what we want, and not seek it in material things, not seek filling the void in an external way, is going to help us find peace and tranquility. Now, the lunar eclipse, they're, again, immensely emotional times. It's going to be more emotional for us than it is going to be for others. So being aware of that, Virgo, even though we are earth signs, even though we're more grounded than others, this is just going to be an emotional time for us, which is interesting because, again, this new moon is in Taurus. What I'm seeing here is that we want to turn our backs on certain things that are coming forward. And the lunar eclipse tells us to face the truth we'd rather not see. So there's something that we'd rather sweep under the rug, and it's being pulled out. So being aware of that it's going to be a bit uncomfortable, but it's going to be necessary, is, again, important. Okay. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. We have the Queen of Swords, air sign energy, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. We have the Wheel of Fortune, and we have the 10 of Cups. So there is somebody who's coming forward. This is a person who speaks their mind, knows what it is that they want, looks at things in a very straightforward, blunt way, has a heart behind them. So we can lose sight of that because they're going to be, I'm just seeing this person being rather monotone, rather just the facts type of thing. So we're going to think, oh, their heart isn't in it. We're going to be surprised that their heart is in it, that we're going to be surprised at how they have been listening, how they have been taking things in, because there's almost a sense of, I'm not being seen, and yet they're cutting through doubts and fears and negativity and leading a path forward. And they're not even going to tell you that they're doing it because it's kind of like they'll see when it's done. They'll understand when it's done. So knowing that this person is handling things or moving things forward without us knowing it, and, thinks it's almost like bragging or, oh, you're expecting me to say thank you or something like that to them, it's not worth it. It's like they don't want that. They just want it to be done and to move forward. So there's that energy here of, okay, so there's this energy here of it is moving forward, but you're not going to see it. So Spirit is saying, be mindful of this also, because we don't want to think, oh, this is the person that's doing things and they're not going to be, and thinking, oh, they have it covered. But there is somebody here, very blunt, very straightforward, very to the point, who is carving a path and leading us to something greater. It moves us, it moves us to the Wheel of Fortune. Things are changing. And we're going to see that we are entering into this time of change, that fortune itself is smiling on us or changing in a way that we hadn't expected. I'm just seeing a smiley face with it, which means that this is moving towards good times, towards positive times, towards intense times, but times of joy. There is a sense here of, I don't have my footing the way that I would want to, because the change is so powerful, because this is leading us in a direction that we hadn't expected. The 10 of Cups, and they all live happily ever after. There's joy here. There's joy in embracing what we emotionally want. There's joy in looking at what we desire. And there's a real sense here of, I need to open myself up to the happiness that is right for me. I'm getting the feeling, Virgo, that we've been putting on a mask. It's kind of like we've been smiling through things that haven't been making us happy. I'm just hearing spark joy. What is that? There's that book, right? That was all about the things sparking joy in our lives. And it can be that we're on that path. Like, I want to spark joy in my life. I want to be surrounded by joyful, beautiful things. So that could definitely be the case. But there's also this sense of, I need to do what is beautiful and right for me. I need to have that joy and that prosperity in my life, and not turn away from it just because others don't understand it. So let's see what the moon has to say for herself. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels and spirit guides, angels. Okay, so it's very interesting that the void of course comes forward. So if you look up the void of course, that it happens throughout the month, every single month, and it is a time where things do not go as planned. So some people like to kind of circle the times of the void of course, which doesn't last very long at all. But know that in those times, I'm not going to make big decisions. I'm not going to, dive deeper into something because everything's going to go wonky. Knowing here that during this new moon, things are not going to go as we had planned. We are going to have our plans, and divinity is taking over and saying, changing it. Like, you thought you knew what was going on. That's cute. But things are going to be changing in a powerful way, in a profound way, but also in a way that makes us have to be present in the moment. What I'm seeing is every time we think like, oh, I don't have to pay attention, we're being forced to pay attention, to kind of dive deeper into things. Do not let pride get in your way. There's a real sense here of not listening to our intuition because we think we know better. And so Spirit is saying here, don't let pride get in your way. Don't let it take over. There is more here, and there's more to this than you're seeing right at the forefront. So let's dive deeper into this. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels and spirit guides. Okay, so those need to come out. Spirit's saying these first. The 8 of Wands, the Knight of Cups, water sign energy, Pisces, Scorpio, and Cancer. The 8 of Pentacles, the Queen of Cups, so Knights defend Queens, and the Ace of Cups. We are definitely taking this gift of love and of healing. But again, that amplifies the fact that this is an emotionally sensitive time for us. So we might be saying, well, why does it have to be so emotional? Because the moon deals with the inner side of us, the quote unquote feminine part of us, the part that the world doesn't see. So it's kind of like our moon sign, right? Our moon sign is the way we view the world emotionally. Our sun sign is the way that people see us, a very kind of like crude to the point definition of it all. So this is going to be a time where our view of the world and our view of ourselves is more important and needs to be focused on more than what everybody else is seeing. And yet we're going to want to focus on what other people are seeing and control that narrative. I'm just seeing the pictures aren't edited enough. Like I'm editing. I want it to be perfect. And yet we're not going to be able to bring forward perfect during this time. And it's going to be kind of devastating. So being aware of this and saying, listen, I understand that there's going to be a lot of change coming forward, that things are going to be moving in a speed, in a direction that I wasn't aware of. Like I wasn't aware that I needed this change, that that this turmoil was even here. And yet it's coming up. It's mixing things up. I'm just seeing things being mixed in a way that we're like, oh, I didn't know that was settling on the bottom. Like I didn't know I had that resentment, or I had that fear, or there was even that doubt there. So acknowledging this is going to be important, because there are going to be moments during this new moon where all of a sudden, and from new moon on the 30th new moon on the 30th to the full moon on the 16th, where we'll see things being really, really slow and then speeding up, and then being really, really slow and then speeding up. And we're going to think, can't I have it be like in the middle? Can't we have a middle speed? And Spirit's saying, no, you can't. It's going to be that way, which I think is rather funny. It's going to keep us on our toes. We're also going to be rather annoyed by it. The Knight of Cups. Emotionally, we're going to tend to look towards the past and say, well, I already know what you're going to say because this is what you did last time, XYZ type of thing. We're also going to be dealing with a person who can't stop looking at the past. The past defines their emotional present. And that is going to be something that's hard for us. It's hard for us to cope with, or to deal with, or to understand, because I'm just seeing for a lot of us, we weren't part of that past, so we couldn't fix it, or we couldn't make it just perfect. Also, it can also be we weren't part of. It's almost like what they were seeing and what we were seeing are two very different things. So being aware of that is going to be very important. Emotionally, do not spend your time looking in the past, because it is going to make guarding what we love and what we want to nourish and bring forward so much harder, because we're not seeing what's going on right now. It brings us to the Eight of Pentacles. We're going to be working really, really hard. There's an energy here of we're working hard to prove something to someone, again, who isn't standing right before us now. We need to look at what we're creating, why we're creating it, why we're drawn to it, what we desire in our lives, and kind of go towards that goal, go towards that beauty, that elegance, that eloquence of life and existence, and what we want. There's something that's changing. The repeat of the number 8 here is very much leading towards us being too serious. And then the repeat of the cups is telling us our emotions are being too serious. It can be that we're just taking everything to heart during this time. Everything wounds us just a little bit deeper than we want it to wound us, or we want to be taking it, because we don't want to be wounded. But again, you know what I mean. You know what Spirit's saying. We take things a little bit too personally. But also there's a sense of, I'm working so hard to prove that I deserve to stand here. There's an imposter syndrome going on. This moon is bringing up things that we'd rather run away from, that we'd rather not see. And it's bringing up those things so that we can learn, so that we can stand in our power, stand in ourselves, and not be swayed by other people. That's going to be a challenge for us. It's going to be something that we don't feel comes naturally during this time, because it just doesn't. We're working astoundingly hard. We're building our craft, and yet we're not seeing it. We're going to be like, oh, you could have done that better, and oh, you should have done that, and oh my gosh, wouldn't it have been great if you did this? We have to stop being so hard on ourselves, because it's going to make us neurotic. It's going to make us doubtful. It's going to make us just worried. I'm just seeing, I had a dove when I was little, and she became so nervous that she plucked out all her feathers. That's just what she did. And so I just see that nervousness, that it's like, okay, stop and calm yourself, center yourself, because it's doing you harm. It brings us then to the Queen of Cups. And even if that harm is only that we're not enjoying the moment, we're not realizing that this time, it'll never come again. We only have the moments to build on. And it's so easy to say this, and it makes so much sense when we do, but it's also an abstract. It's like, okay, but I'm worried about the bills I have to pay, and I'm worried about, this, and I'm worried about that. But if we can get ourselves to be in the moments of things, be in the middle of things right when they are, that's going to be very important to us. That's going to be very powerful for us. The Queen of Cups teaches with love, guides with love. And there's just an adoration here. Adoration of the little girl that sits with her. It doesn't have to be that she's her mom. It can be that she's just somebody she adores. And there's an energy of being adored, of being loved, and not realizing it. And Spirit is saying, take the cup, embrace your heart, and realize that you are more important. And it doesn't have to be to the world. It can be to one person than you thought you were. You are more seen than you thought you were. And all of a sudden, that brings us to a place where we're starting to heal. We're starting to heal from not feeling seen, of not feeling heard, of living in the past and thinking our emotions don't matter. Or, we just have to kind of buck it up and soldier on type of thing. Yes, bucking it up and soldiering on does have its place and it does have its merit. But without acknowledging who we are emotionally and how life affects us, how sensitive we are, how sensitive we aren't, the way that perceptions can change drastically from one person to another, that's going to be difficult. Here, we're looking at our heart. We're acknowledging our heart. And that's going to be the most empowering and powerful thing we do during this time, is to see ourselves and to see the emotions of ourselves. It moves us to our moon. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels and spirit guides, angels and spirit guides. So we have focus, we have attraction, we have the unexpected, and darkness. So what we focus on during the darkness brings the unexpected. So we attract it. That's period. End of discussion. This is going to be a time where we need to look at our third eye chakra. We need to look at where our mind wanders when we're quiet, what we see, what we feel about ourselves, or how we're connecting with the world. We need to acknowledge certain things about us that maybe we would want to change, but aren't going to be easily changed. We could be working with a spiritual advisor or a life coach or a therapist to look at those, to acknowledge and to see and to understand. That would be a great thing to do. But if we don't want to work with somebody else, we need to look within ourselves, journaling, but also I'm just seeing embrace something creative. Embrace something creative, embrace something beautiful, and let that beauty be a part of your life. It's going to help you focus, and it's going to help you transform. It brings us to our attraction. What we focus on, we will bring more into our lives. There's an end stop right here. What we are focusing on will become greater and greater in our lives, in our existence, in ourselves, whether we want it or not. So knowing that our power of manifestation during this time is astoundingly strong. So we can bring ourselves to a point where we start to see our career uplifting, we start to see ourselves transforming to that point. Or we can bring ourselves to the point of, I don't understand why nothing's going my way. I don't understand why I'm so frustrated. I don't understand what's going on here. So being aware of that is, again, going to be an important thing, because this moon, through its darkness, brings the unexpected. Through the lunar eclipse, through the black moon, it brings the unexpected. And it also just brings unexpected change, unexpected ways to move forward. We're going to think, oh, I can do this. Like I can maneuver this properly and make everything go my way. And Spirit is saying, you're going to be surprised at the journey that you're on. You're not expecting the depth of it. Angels and Spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels and Spirit guides. Oh, a lot? Okay. So we have the Emperor, Aries energy. The new moon on the 1st of April was in Aries. So we're going from Aries now to Taurus. So from the 1st to the 30th. Fun side note, that was also my nephew's birthday, the 1st of April. He turned 3. We have the Knight of Cups coming through once again, but this time he is much more present. We have the Hermit, Virgo, that's us shining through. We have the Empress, Emperor, and Empress coming forward. That's a powerful connection. Powerful, powerful, powerful. The Nine of Swords. Okay, this connection can be tested through our worry, our doubt. There's something here, we're making it bigger than it is. So being aware of that is going to be important. The Two of Swords. The Tower. Yeah, the Tower. Okay, drowning in emotions. And Justice. We need to balance things. Justice is also Libra energy. So as we're looking at all of this, there is a sense here that we have a greater connection, a greater love, greatness coming through during this time. And stop. We're going to be surprised at how powerful it is, how beautiful it is, how much it changes the scenario. With the Emperor and the Empress, they're the power couple of the whole entire tarot deck. You know, they're what everybody kind of aspires to be. So this could be a romantic coupling, yes. This, because the heart is so prominent here, if it is a romantic coupling, we need to be mindful that our emotions are a little bit more erratic than we want them to be. So we're not able to bring that stability that we want to the table right now. So being aware of that can stop a lot of arguments. Saying, you know what, emotionally I'm just kind of overwhelmed, or I need to take some time for myself. Disconnecting is actually going to help us connect better. So that's going to be an important thing. There's also a sense here that this doesn't have to be a romantic relationship. It has to be a relationship that intimately connects the heart. Meaning that it could be, you know, the relationship that you have with a child. Like it just connects with your heart in a way that you didn't expect. A relationship that you have with a friend. I mean, I'm even seeing a pet here could be that relationship where it's like, I never knew that something could bring me so much joy, that someone could bring me so much joy. There's a sentiment here of profound connection. Whether that, I see that more as a living object coming forward. And I don't mean to say living object, but living being coming forward. Or it can be an inanimate object, but it's going to be something here where it's like, if you find it, it's going to be like, oh my gosh, that's the exact type of, I don't know why I'm getting opal necklace that my great grandma used to wear. Okay, so my great grandma actually used to wear an opal necklace. So that's coming forward. So it's, what that's telling me is that that's from an ancestral line. So there's going to be something here that connects you to somebody that you loved that might not be present on this waking world, or that you wanted a sign from somebody and they're like, don't worry, like a sign is coming. And this could be a person, again, on the waking world, in the waking world, that is like, don't worry, a sign is coming. You'll know when it's from me. You'll know when you're supposed to see it. And then you find something, you see something, and it's like, oh, that's the connection. It's like, oh my gosh, that's it. And you'll call that person up immediately and you'll connect deeper because of that. There is something here that needs to be acknowledged. It's a connection. It's powerful. And again, it doesn't have to be that quote unquote love relationship, but it's going to be a relationship that, again, sparks joy, has profound meaning, has us looking at things immensely differently than we have before. It brings us then to the Knight of Cups. This way we are forward and people are seeing us. And it's almost like, do I want them to see my heart this much? Because we still have our armor on. We're still questioning, can I make myself vulnerable? Can I embrace what I love? We then have the Hermit. We need to turn into ourselves. We need to see ourselves. Excuse me. Because there's this sense of, how can I let the rest of the world see me if I don't acknowledge and see me first? But we also need to calm things down. This is a quieter time. We need a quieter time, Virgo. It's very important for us to have quiet, to have serenity, to have harmony within our lives, which is what this moon brings us. It brings us peace and tranquility as we look at our need for stability. And we also acknowledge that we're being a little fussy during this time. It's kind of like a little kid who you're trying to get to go to sleep. They have everything that they're needing, but they're just not comfortable. They just, swiggle and wiggle type of thing. So being aware of that is going to be important. Again, we have the Empress. There's something we're loving, that we're nurturing, that we're seeing grow, that we're seeing a connection to. It moves us then to the Nine of Swords. And the Nine of Swords is worry, doubt, and fear. Not sleeping well, being overwhelmed by things. Even the good things we're going to worry about during this time. I laugh because I am a terrible worrier. I can worry about anything. So it's like when it's going good, oh, why is it going so good? When it's going bad, oh, of course it's going so bad. So here, Spirit's saying, calm yourself down. Calm yourself down because you're missing moments. You're missing beauty during this time. And it brings us then to the Two of Swords. The Two of Swords is an avenue opening up. But I also see it as, almost a sense of, I'm seeing it like a trust fall, but what's really interesting here, the hands just stopped me. If you do EMDR, that's one of the poses. And then you tap the opposite shoulder, back and forth, back and forth. So there can be something here with a healing from a trauma that needs to be done. There could be doing EMDR or practicing EMDR. There is something here that needs to be acknowledged. And as those two avenues, because it's, how do I explain this the best? So what Spirit is showing me is that when this comes forward, it all of a sudden, it's almost like it takes away our choice. It's like, oh, well, it has to be this or this. And that's because somebody said I couldn't do XYZ, or I wasn't talented enough to have more options open to me. There's some sort of negative mind pattern that's coming forward that's emotionally overwhelming us, but making us think like, oh, I can't move forward the way that I want to or the way that I need to. So the Two of Swords is acknowledging that preconceived mindset. And then there's a severing of it. There's a seeing of it. There's a understanding of it. The Tower is what we're going to be looking at, emotionally being overwhelmed at times, but also a tremendous shift, a tremendous change that rocks our world. It rocks our world and it plunges us. I see water. So this can be becoming more aware of our surroundings, more powerfully connected. And that could be through, ice baths or cold showers. And you don't have to do a whole cold shower. I myself can't get myself to step into an ice cold shower. So I just turn it on ice cold at the end of the shower for 2 minutes. There is a sense here of, I need to be present in the now, and I need to have that shock. It's like I needed that shock to put me in my reality. And it doesn't have to be anybody else's reality or anybody else's understanding, but I needed that shock to put me in the here and the now. And it changes the way that we see things, yes, but it's a powerful change. It's a breaking of convention, and it's bringing justice, it's bringing balance into our lives, but also discernment. I have to be discerning about what I'm doing, where I'm going, what's important to me, what isn't important to me, and that balance comes forward. Let me take a sip of water. It brings us to the moon once again. Angels and spirit guides show me clearly. Guide this reading. And show me clearly, angels. Okay. So we have the energy is gaining momentum, work through your fears, and your dreams need a practical plan. So this is very strong Taurus energy during this new moon. So the new moon is in Taurus, which says prosperity lies ahead, right, in this deck. Here we have our dreams need a practical plan because the energy is getting momentum. There is a sense of we can feel this change coming. We can feel that things aren't going to stay the same. We might be fighting against that because we don't know what that change is, and we don't want it to be bad change, like better kind of like the devil you know, right, than what could be lying ahead. So understanding this and looking at it is going to be very important for us because we're working through our fears. We're working through what's holding us back. And it's holding us back from what we truly love, where we truly need to be, what we truly desire. And it brings us to a place where we're saying, okay, as I'm looking at what's holding me back, as I'm confronting my fears, I need a practical plan for my dreams. I need to practically look at me and bring my heart's desire into this waking world. Oh, goodness, no, not this one. This one right here. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. We have sovereignty, we have nourishment, and we have power. So that's really, really cool. So sovereignty, the queen of the moon, is going to be, I'm taking control of the situation. This moon is bringing us power. The full moon, again, on the 16th of May, we're going to see ourselves embracing power each day we move towards the full moon. Something becomes more illuminated. Something becomes, more defined, more understandable, more, I'm just hearing intellectual during this time. And it moves us then to a nourishment of our dreams, of what we desire, of what we've been looking for. There's a sense of my soul has been hungry. I have been hungry. And though I've been eating, I haven't been feeding myself properly. So that's going to be an important thing during this time. We're going to see what our soul really needs to nourish us. It moves us to our subconscious Luna message, which is the new moon in Aries, which remember was on the 1st of April, and fruition. So it says it's time to take action and bring to fruition what we dream of and bring to the fruition what we desire. And then we have the new moon, right here. It says beginnings. This is a beginning for us. It brings us to our subconscious energy to be mindful of. The Ace of Pentacles. There's somebody here looking at your prosperity, looking at what you desire, and they're kind of taking you by eyes. Not kind of, they're taking you by eyes. Meaning they're saying, oh, I support you, I love you, that type of thing. And then they're doubting you. They're talking about you. They're not supportive. You know this. This isn't going to be something that's surprising. It's going to be in their eyes. It's going to even be like, I don't really think you could do that, or I don't believe in that, type of thing. But of course I support you. Know not to put all your eggs in that basket. Don't fully rely on that person because they don't share your goal. They don't share your vision. We then have, we then have the heart chakra and forgiveness. And the forgiveness, I love it when it comes to the heart chakra and we're told to forgive. Because it's not just the external world that we're told to forgive. We're told to forgive our internal self. Forgive everything that we're holding on to, everything that we thought we could have changed if only we knew, and release ourselves from pain and hurt, which is way easier said than done. But it is a freeing. I just see, wings unfolding. It is becoming free, stepping out of our shell. It brings us then to Gemini energy. And there's a sense of duality here. There's a duality to us. We can embrace one side of ourselves or the other side of ourselves. But if we only embrace one or the other part will starve and beg and plead for attention. We'll feel it. We'll feel it like shriveling up within us. We need to have a balance. We need to see that it's not going to be black or white. White page, black print, everything organized and uniformed. This is going to be a time of diving deeper. This is also going to be a time of immense questions and seeking and gaining an understanding. It brings us then to the Ten of Pentacles. And the Ten of Pentacles is prosperity and success. The Ten of Pentacles is wealth that lasts for generations. And it doesn't have to be, I get to have an inheritance that people, I get to leave an inheritance. But it is that I get to have an impact on this earth. I once read somewhere that the Greeks had a saying, and it was like, it was like they stood here. Meaning that their feet left an imprint in the earth. And they would say that after the person passed. Like you knew that they stood here. And that's what I'm seeing here. It's like you know that you stand here. They know that you stood here. That your world has meaning and power and is more impactful than you think it is. There's also a sense of luck, of beauty, of camaraderie and inspiration being on your side. It brings us to the Four of Swords. And the Four of Swords is saying we need to rest. We need to take care of ourselves. We need to let ourselves dream and let our minds heal. Let our cells heal. It's going to be very important. We're going to burn the candle at both ends, but only for so long. All right. All right, Virgo. I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I am sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we embrace our power, intensity, and also presence on this earth during this moon. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Virgo, and may you have a blessed moon.